All right, so I'm going to show a rare photo of President Sukarno from Perang, Kemerdekaaan, but it also has a tragic story that goes with it that I'm going to get into. And that's why I'm using English, because it's hard to explain. So from June to July 1949, 15 American news correspondents were invited to Indonesia by the Dutch, trying to sway the Americans that, what they were doing wasn't as bad as the Americans said it was, because the Americans didn't like the war. So these 15 correspondents went over there, and they were, going around the country. They were seeing different things, meeting different people, whether it was Dutch, Indonesian, different leaders at the time. This photo was taken at Bangka when President Sukarno met with these journalists. He met with the US journalists, told his side of the story. He was still in Bangka. I believe he was already released from custody, but he was still in Bangka at that time. And, he got to tell somewhat of his side of the story. A few days later, on July 12th, the US correspondents left. Only 2 didn't take a plane. And this plane, which was flying from Indonesia, crashed and killed 45 people on board. Everybody who was on board died. All these US journalists died, these high-profile people. And that was the end of their story. So one of the sad things that came from this was that one of the journalists who was not on the plane accused some Indonesians of sabotaging the plane. Now, nobody really believes it. There's been a ton of investigations, but she basically, I believe it was that she basically said that they didn't want these correspondents telling a Dutch side of the story because they were invited by the Dutch. It seems completely bogus, and the New York Indonesian office refuted it, said that it was nonsense, and everybody thinks it was. But it was just a really tragic time in that history. Indonesia ended up getting its independence recognized by the Dutch, December of that year, with the support of the US. And all these journalists who were trying to get home just ended up going down in a rainstorm. But I guess that's the way history works and the way the world works. And we have this photo as evidence of that time. Thank you for watching, and everybody have a great day.